Welcome to another edition of Grizzly Comics and Collectibles Toy Review Edition. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, but we've been loading up on some really great figures, and I figured we'd make a nice kind of longer video showcasing some of this great stuff that we've gotten in recently. We've got a ton of wrestling figures, which I'm super stoked about, and we'll get to those in a minute. But first off, we're going to show you guys a couple one-offs of figures that I've gotten recently. This was an eBay purchase here. This is a Marvel Universe Iron Spider-Man. These are the 3.75 inch figures that they made, I don't know, in the, I want to say late 2000s, as far as like probably around like 2008 or 9 to about, I think the series ran to like 2010 or 12, something like that. They made a ton of great figures. I love these figures a lot because they're really nicely articulated, super posable. Hasbro went all out with this line. They made a ton of figures from the series. A lot of like obscure characters that you never would have expected to really get. They're in size with like G.I. Joes and stuff like that, so you can have like crossover battles and stuff with your G.I. Joes and your Marvel superheroes and stuff like that. And I was a huge fan of this series. I love this series so much. Super fond of it. And we have some of them. I had a larger amount, but we sold a lot of them. And whenever I can get my hands on some, I definitely try to. Just because they're just such really cool figures, and you know they look good on display on a shelf, or you know even opened up. You know you get like a little stand in there, and you get a little like file on the character, which is pretty cool. It tells you all about them, which is really neat. On the back it shows you some of the other figures that are in the line, and then it also tells you the number of this figure and the series that it was in, which is really cool. And Iron Spider-Man, of course, is the Iron Man suit of Spider-Man. Really cool figure, debuted in Civil War, which is a great series. Love that series. But really cool figure. And I've just been a huge fan of them, and I'm definitely going to try and get more of these guys in stock because I think it's a really cool series. So that's the first one we got, and we got a couple other guys that are really neat. Let's see if I can find them. Hang on one second. Oh, here we go. Alright, the other figure, one of the other cool figures that we got in is a Star Wars Black Series, the Mandalorian Moff Gideon. We got a couple of other guys from this series. We got Grief Karga, and we got Quill. And you know, this was the one that I wasn't able to get my hands on until recently, so really excited about that. You know, beautiful rendition of Giancarlo Esposito. Really nicely sculpted, and comes with the Darksaber and his blaster, and you know, just like all the other Black Series figures, just really nicely detailed, good articulation to them, and a decent price point, I think, for a figure like this at $20. If you can find them, definitely pick them up. Really nice figure, and if you love the Mandalorian, he's definitely the one that you're going to need to complete your set and to have him facing off against Mando. The other figure that I got recently, this guy is going to be for me, for my PC, my personal collection. It is the Mandalorian in his Beskar armor with the child. He comes with his long rifle. He comes with the jetpack, his blaster, and of course some Beskar and the homing beacon. Even has the little floating thing for the child. They absolutely crushed this figure. Beautiful, beautiful detail on him. Just super accurate as far as, you know, the deco and stuff like that. And really great packaging, to be quite honest with you. Like, it's super dynamic looking. Like, it looks amazing on the shelf. It's got nice, you know, imagery, artwork on the side there. Nice package design as far as just kind of the angular look to it. It looks really cool. This is a absolute must-have. This is one that I have not been able to find extras of, unfortunately, and this one is going to be staying in my personal collection. But definitely keep your guys' eyes out. Maybe you'll get lucky and find it. If I get lucky and I find some more, maybe I'll have some for you guys. But that rounds out the kind of random figures. And now on to the main event, so to speak, our wrestling figures. We got a ton of wrestling figures in recently. Pretty excited about this. These are a new series, 2-pack. I think this is probably going to be the series that replaces the battle packs going forward for Mattel. But these are pretty cool. These are the Championship Showdown Series, Series 1. You've got Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks. Pretty decent deco on them. Not bad. I mean, they're basics essentially, but they're I mean, even Mattel's basic figures for wrestling figures are super nice. Obviously you got your elites and your ultimates, and those are, you know, quintessential perfection as far as figures go for the most part. But the basics are definitely, don't sleep on the basics. They're really nice figures. These are cool because they come with these little side plates here, which are essentially side plates that you could put on a championship belt. They come with a championship belt on the side. On the back here, it shows you there's a specific championship that you can get, that you can take these side plates and put them on the belt, which is really cool. So it's, you know, perfect for collectors because it comes with these really cool looking, dynamic looking stands that you can put the figures on, or it's great for kids too. You get them a belt, you get them their favorite figures, and then you throw the championship side plates on them, and they can pretend to be that, you know, that wrestler, which is really cool. So really cool idea by Mattel to kind of jazz up a series that maybe was not the best. I mean, people like battle packs, but I think going forward, this is a much cooler version or take on those. But yeah, Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss, which is really cool. So they do rivalries, which is really neat. And like from like iconic points in time. This one I thought was really cool. You've got, you know, the Dead Man when he was in his kind of biker persona, which is really cool. And he had that super classic, like all-time great match with him and Jeff Hardy on, I believe it was Raw. It was like a ladder match for the title, which is really great, incredible match. If you have the WWE Network, I would highly recommend seeking that match out if you haven't seen it, or you might even be able to find it on YouTube. But incredible match nonetheless. And really cool to see him in his kind of biker getup. And then you've got Jeff Hardy rocking the like cool face paint that he had on that night. It's really cool to see him with a figure with that design, which is really neat. And again, you've got the cool side plates here. And the other set that's in this series is Roman Reigns and Finn Balor. That's the other set. But I mean, it's really, I liked these figures because you don't see these guys super often. You see Finn Balor and Roman Reigns, they make a ton of those guys. And of course, there's, as they should, they're the top guys in you know, the feds so far. But you know, it's, I mean, Undertaker always is awesome, and Jeff Hardy, of course, you know, super toyetic and just an all-time great tag team and just general wrestler. So really cool sets right there. So those are the championship showdowns that we got. And then let's see, we've got a bunch of cool elites. We've got this awesome Bray Wyatt, the Fiend Elite, comes with the head lantern, which is really cool. Comes with a couple of extra hands, and then you've got, you know, just nice detailing on the figure itself. Just really cool looking. I mean, elites as always are amazing figures, and you know, this guy, I mean, he's just so toyetic and cool looking. Bray Wyatt's just probably one of the best things they've got currently going is Bray Wyatt the Fiend. Whole persona and like that whole storyline is just super interesting, really cool, and they make cool figures out of him, so really awesome. So that's really cool. And then the other one that we got that is kind of the same, we've got the ultimate version of the Fiend. The ultimate version is, of course, the more high-end version of the Elite. It's about $10 more. You know, the regular Elites are about $19.99. The Ultimate Editions are $30, but you get so much more. I mean, the detail is slightly nicer on just the figure itself and the deco. You get all these extra accessories and stuff like that. Like you've got his jacket there. You've got, you know, different arms to switch out his arms. You've got an extra head, you know, giving you the extra different facial expressions and stuff like that. And of course the Fiend Championship, which is really cool. So, I mean, just incredible figure of a guy who's just had an awesome career so far in WWE and just been one of the more interesting and entertaining wrestlers consistently over the last few years. You know, you've had some guys and a lot of people been kind of knocking WWE for their writing and storylines, and as well they should. Some of that stuff has been just absolutely terrible, but I rarely ever see anyone knocking any of the stuff that they're doing with Bray Wyatt. The only other time I see them say anything is like, we need more Bray Wyatt, or, you know, put the strap on him, or, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, just an awesome figure, definitely worth picking up. And sticking with the Ultimates theme, we did get the other Ultimate in that set. The coolest Ultimate, in my opinion, so far, or maybe not so far, but recently, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I mean, what more can you say about this figure? It's just amazing. You get 2 extra heads, you get the sunglasses, you get the NWO tank, you get the feather boa, an extra set of hands, and of course, the spray-painted WCW NWO Championship. Awesome stuff. I mean, the attention to detail on this is incredible. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not because of the glare and whatnot, but on the side of his tights, you can see the kind of like airbrush lightning that he always would rock on his tights. You can see the Hulk Hogan on the side of his boots right there. Just incredible. He's got the Hollywood weight belt, which is really cool. I mean, I was always a Hulk Hogan fan. I was so disappointed when he went to WCW, and I didn't really care for him in WCW all that much until he joined the NWO and started that and just went on this monster run in WCW. And it's really interesting because, you know, a lot of guys in wrestling that, you know, they'll have that one initial run sometimes, and then that might be it for their career. You just kind of see him kind of slide downhill after that. He had like a second career almost. Like you could almost break up his career into 2 portions, where he had the WWF run, which was just I mean, you talk to anybody, you ask them who Hulk Hogan is or if they've ever heard of Hulk Hogan, the answer is always a yes. And so, you know, he was just the biggest wrestler on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, the only other couple guys that you could maybe make that claim for is, like, you know, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Other than that, you know, you start to go down as far as, like, when you start asking, you know, do you know who Ric Flair is or other guys like that? They may have heard of him. They may not have. You know what I mean? But everyone has heard of Hulk Hogan. Everyone's heard of The Rock. Everyone's heard of Stone Cold. And this figure is quintessential Hulk Hogan for this time period. I mean, it's perfect. It is. I can't say enough good things about this figure. It is, when you say Ultimate Edition, this is it right here. This is the Ultimate Edition. I don't think there's a nicer Hollywood Hulk Hogan figure. There may never be a nicer one. And honestly, you don't need one because this is it. This is the ultimate one. So this is an incredible figure. I love it. I think you'll love it too. Definitely need to pick this up for the collection. So enough good things about that. And then we've got a few more. Hulk Hogan probably wouldn't be what he was if it wasn't for this man here. Andre the Giant. There's nobody bigger in wrestling, literally and figuratively. Andre the Giant was the wrestling business. You know what I mean? He was larger than life. He was an incredible athlete. He was a main event attraction wherever he went. And, you know, everything you hear about him was he was a pretty good dude. And, you know, he loved the business. And that's what you want. And this figure is really cool because it encapsulates that WrestleMania moment that he had with Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 3. That moment, Hulk Hogan probably would have been a star anyway, but that moment cemented him into stardom. And I mean, he just became an instant legend in that moment. And if it wasn't for Andre the Giant, he may not have had as big of a career as he went on to have. But that being said, I mean, Hogan was still a star. but Andre, I think, made him a superstar. And this is such a cool figure. You know what I mean? You got Andre, nice, very nice head scan of him. You know, it's a great likeness of Andre. I love the fact that he's, you know, just a massive figure too, which is really cool. And the fact that he comes with the little ring cart, which is incredible. Like, that's so cool. This figure is meant for display. He'll be great on a shelf. You could take him out of the box and everything, but I mean, this box is amazing. It's got just beautiful artwork on it. You know what I mean? It's got, you know, his kind of stats and stuff like that on the bottom, where he's from, how much he weighed, his height, and it even tells you this was the championship match versus Hulk Hogan. So I mean, you know, there's not a more legendary figure in wrestling than Andre the Giant, and this is just an incredible way to kind of honor him and stuff like that, by Mattel. Just an excellent figure, and it, you know, again, it comes in this cool window box, which looks great on the shelf. So just an excellent figure. If you can find them, definitely pick that up. You will definitely want that in your collection. All right, 3 more figures we got, and then we'll be out of here. The first one is Mae Young in this new Elite collection. I believe it's 81, I want to say. Yeah, 81. So Mae Young, first time in the line. This was during her kind of Attitude Era run, essentially, which is really cool. You know, really nice likeness of her. Comes with the soft goods jacket, which is cool. I really hope that this material doesn't stain the figure. I know a lot of times Mattel, when they put clothing on figures, it ends up getting stained because of the type of material that they use. Hopefully this is either not that material or they've fixed that problem. So that's my only real main concern with this figure. It's a really nice likeness of Mae. You know, you get a couple extra hands as well, which is really cool. I have no idea what this is. I don't know if this is like the trophy that you get for winning the Mae Young Classic, or like what the hell it is. But you get this weird thing here. If you know, let me know in the comments below. I would love to know what the hell that is. But, you know, you get that thing, whatever the hell that is. So that's cool. A bonus random object. And then you get Mae Young, who, I mean, is an absolute pioneer in women's wrestling. I mean, just a tough-ass broad who, you know, just an absolute legend. You know what I mean? Like, when you talk about legendary figures in wrestling, Mae Young for women is that figure. You know what I mean? She doesn't have the scandal that you might have with like a Fabulous Moolah or something like that. She was just a tough as nails, you know, woman who, you know, will put you on your ass pretty much, you know. And that's really cool. I always had great respect for Mae Young, and always, you know, loved her, you know, because she was so entertaining during the Attitude Era. When I grew up, you know, not grew up necessarily, but like when I watched wrestling, you know, from like my, you know, when I was a kid to like, you know, mid to late teens, when I was heavily watching it, you know, I still keep up with it, you know, but I don't watch it as religiously as I did at that point. And she was like a, you know, a big figure in the WWE at that time. And so it's really cool to see them honoring her with this figure, her first Elite, which is really cool. There's a picture of the back, you know, so awesome figure. You know, if you love women's wrestling, if you're ever a fan of Mae Young, definitely pick that figure up. It's really cool. Last couple figures we've got another trailblazing woman in the WWE, someone who I think is going to be a big time star, Bianca Belair. I'm a big fan of hers. Her athleticism is incredible. She's great on the mic. Just super cool. You know, I think she's going to be a superstar. Kind of along the same lines as like a Sasha Banks or something like that, or, you know, Alexa Bliss. You know what I mean? Just like someone who can play the heel really well, but who also has that talent and ability to be a babyface also, and kind of ride that line. So, you know, I think this is her first Elite. I can't recall ever seeing another Elite of hers, so that's pretty exciting. The other figures in this series, of course, are the Rock. It's a nice Rock. You know, it's nothing spectacular. I saw them on the shelf, and I didn't pick him up because I just wasn't that impressed with it, to be quite honest with you. And then Shinsuke Nakamura, who, I mean, Shinsuke, of course, a phenomenal wrestler, but they've made a ton of Shinsuke's, and, you know, we get it, dude. You love Shinsuke. I understand. But, you know, and hey, he's a great wrestler, but you don't need like 50 Shinsuke's in your collection. The other ones that are new elites that are really cool are Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, the Street Profits. Very entertaining tag team. Really enjoy their stuff. They didn't have them on the shelf, unfortunately, when I went to pick these guys up, but they did have her, so I was very excited about that. And last but not least, one of the other big names, besides Hulk Hogan, one of the biggest names ever in wrestling, Steve Austin. But before he was Stone Cold, he was stunning, and this figure lives up to that name. It's an incredible looking figure, great likeness of Steve Austin at this time period. You got the floppy comb over thing going, which is great. You got the Hollywood Blondes clapper thingy, which is really cool. You got the, you know, WCW championship belt that comes with him, which is really neat. He's got the vest on. It's an awesome figure. If you love Stone Cold, first time they've ever done a Stunning Steve, as far as I know. If not, let me know in the comments below. But I don't recall ever seeing a Stunning Steve. And this is a great, great figure. If you love Stone Cold, you got to pick up this figure. If you were ever a big fan of WCW at this time period, I mean, that's really cool. I hope at some point they make a Brian Pillman figure to go along with it. I think that would be phenomenal. So that you could have the Hollywood Blondes tag team. That would be just kind of a collector's dream, essentially. But just super cool. Yeah, I mean, this series was really solid. You know, I mean, granted, like, you've got a lot of new figures, which is cool, as far as Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, and Bianca Belair. Then you've got kind of a classic reimagining of a very popular, famous guy early on in his career, which is really cool. And then you've got two standard, just really popular. So Mattel did a really nice job of kind of balancing this wave, which is really cool. So, you know, great job, Mattel. Great series of elite figures. And if you love wrestling, we've got a ton of elite stuff, and we're trying to always add more. So please head on over to grizzlycnc.com, where we'll have some of these figures on there. And if they're not on there, they will be in our eBay store, which you can find a link to. You know, please head on over there and check out what we've got. We've got a lot of great stuff on there. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, or comment on it. Let us know what you thought of it, or subscribe if you're so inclined. We put out a lot of great content, or at least we try to, for you guys. We do a lot of toy reviews. We do, you know, card breaks, stuff like that. You know, if there's other types of content that you want to see, let us know. We'll try and make that happen for you guys. But yeah, head on over there, check it out. We've got a ton of videos up already, and we're trying to make more when we have time. And then follow us on Instagram at GrizzlyCNC. We post pictures of a lot of this great stuff that we get, and we post pictures of other stuff that you guys may not even see that makes it in these videos. It might be on the Instagram account. We post a lot of stuff on there. So head on over there, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, and thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.